Love on Hollywood. I'm James, and on this episode, we're going to do a quick review of The Vast of Night. It's a new Amazon Prime film that is streaming today. Just began streaming this week. It's a sci-fi suspenseful mystery film directed by Andrew Patterson, written by James Montague and Craig W. Sanger. This is all of their debut film, and what a film to get out of the gate with. This is starring Sarah McCormick, Jake Horowitz, and Gail Crooner. This story takes place in 1950s New Mexico, and we follow the characters of Faye and Everett. Faye is a young switchboard operator, and Everett is a radio DJ who's somewhat of a charismatic local town celebrity. And this begins at a local town basketball game. Faye and Everett, they run into each other, and then things ensue, beginning with them talking about sci-fi, science, the future, as well as these imagined ideas of tunnels that can get you from one part of the country to the other side in record time. Also, these portable TVs that you can use to communicate with other people. Crazy ideas. So let me just start by saying two of the movie's strengths right off the bat is direction and cinematography. There are multiple long cut scenes that just work, and they don't feel like a gimmick just being used just for using its sake. From gliding through the basketball game to the fun back and forth between Faye as they walk to work, as well as the building of suspense. These long cuts work beautifully. The movie begins at night as Everett begins his radio show, and Faye begins her shift as a switchboard operator. And during Faye's shift, she's listening to the radio show, and she begins to hear this weird noise, this weird frequency coming through the radio show, as well as through her switchboard. And then this eventually leads to her hearing, because she's working the switchboard, she's trying to connect phone calls. And one phone call comes in from a woman that she knows, she recognizes. However, right now she sounds very scared, and she's saying that something weird is happening, especially from up above. And that's when Faye and Everett really begin on their journey of trying to figure out what's going on. Everett being more of a skeptical kind of guy, while Faye is open and hoping somewhat for the possibility of something extraterrestrial. Again, she loves science. And this movie is compared to, or is said to be, of a combination of The X-Files and The Twilight Zone, and you especially get the feel of The Twilight Zone. Now, speaking of the strengths, great cinematography and great use of sound. And regarding the long takes, from the very beginning, these shots are very well done, and you're left wanting more. The characters, they're able to bounce off one another when they're walking to work, and while you're watching the scene of them leaving the basketball court to the radio station and the switchboard office, you begin to realize, oh, this cut isn't going to stop. This is going to continue. And you enjoy the whole thing, because not only are the characters fun, but you really like to follow the actors, like literally through this. Both actors, they really bounce off one another really well, but it's when the actress who plays Faye is by herself is when she really shines. There's a scene where the camera only moves slightly on Sierra McCormick, and this slight movement, it's subtle but very effective when you're zooming in and out while she's working the switchboard. And when she's working, she really looks like she knows what she's doing. She's plugging in these cables and disconnecting, switching flipping these switches rather. And the actress who did this, she was interviewed and said how while filming this and before filming this in her hotel room, she actually had the switchboard and would practice for a long time to make sure that she really got it down. And the effects, very minimal in this film, but very effective. Again, the sound, extremely effective, from the radio show to the score, and how just the spoken word, how the voice, the human voice, is used very well in this movie. It's used very effectively. And at one point, there's a sequence in this film where you're literally only relying on voice. It blacks out, but this is the part that really draws you in, and this is what gets the whole movie really going. The movie was filmed on a micro budget in 17 days, and I think it was done very well. Now, where it kind of falls short, I think the story itself is simple. Again, it's been compared to a smaller scale of War of the Worlds, kind of like a X-Files episode, but using that X-Files comparison is not entirely bad. The story seems like what we've seen before, but how it's done in a very refreshing new way, and it's a very fun watch. This is streaming right now on Amazon Prime, and if you're looking for a mystery, suspenseful, and somewhat 1950s nostalgic, if you're looking for that nostalgia feel, I highly recommend this film. I'm really looking forward to see where the characters, or rather, where the director, where the cinematographer, and the two main actors go in their career, because I think they knew what movie they were making, and they knocked it out of the park. So tell me, have you seen The Vast of Night? It is streaming right now, beginning this week on Amazon Prime. What did you think? What did you think about the ending? What did you think about the long takes, the long shots? I was completely sucked in, and I really want to see this again, so I'll probably see this very soon this weekend. Are there movies that you are hoping to watch soon? I know there's not much of a selection out there, but we're talking about movies like Tenet, the new Christopher Nolan movie that may be coming out next month or two, depending how the world develops. Or are there movies that you may be revisiting, either you've seen or you want to see, or you've never seen before and you want to see it for the first time? Recently watched Captain Ron and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, the one with Kate Hudson, Matthew McConaughey. Great rom-com. Saw it years ago, and I think it still holds up. Captain Ron, saw it for the first time, starring Kurt Russell and Martin Short. It's a fun movie. That's all I'm gonna say. A family goes on a cruise, sails with Captain Ron. That's all you need to know. Well, thank you so much for watching this quick review of The Vast of Night. This is The Hub on Hollywood. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Please like, comment down below. What did you think of the film? What are you looking forward to? If you're listening to us on any of the major podcast streaming services like iHeartRadio, Apple iTunes, Spotify, thank you so much for listening. Please tell your friends. Also, we're on the socials. We're on the social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Please follow us and start a conversation with us. I really want to see and hear what do you think about these films. In the meantime, I am James. This was The Hub on Hollywood, and we will see you next week with more reviews and more entertainment news.